Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Lohr, and I read The Little Red Book of Selling, which is written by Gitomer. This book is a simple guide to sales, and it explains what separates average salesmen from successful ones, and it also raises the interesting question of why do some people struggle with selling while others make it look so easy. This is a simple but practical guide to becoming better at sales. One thing that stood out to me specifically was how instead of using complicated ideas, it focuses on strategies and how they actually work in the real world, but also highlights how the importance of having a good attitude, being prepared, and building strong relationships. Also explain that selling isn't about pushing a product, but understanding people and their need and helping them make a decision. Another thing I found was that these ideas don't just apply to business, but they can also be used in everyday life, like communication and presenting ideas. One of the key takeaways I got from this book is that people don't like being sold to, but they do like to buy things. This completely changes how sales should be approached, and instead of pressuring someone into buying something, the goal is to make them feel comfortable and let them make their own decision. The book explains that when you focus on what the customer actually needs, they are more likely to trust you, and this makes the whole process feel more natural rather than being forced. I think this is important because people usually avoid situations where they feel pressured, but they respond better when they feel in control. Another important idea that this book demonstrates is how attitude plays a huge role in success. The author explains that having a positive attitude can make a big difference in how people respond to you. Confidence is also a major part of this. The book points out that confidence doesn't just happen randomly. It comes from preparation and really understanding what you're talking about. If you don't believe in what you're offering, it's very hard to convince anyone else to believe it either. Thirdly, the book also talks about preparation and relationships. It explains that successful people don't just go into situations unprepared, they take time to understand what they are doing and who they are talking to. Another big idea is the long-term success that comes from building strong relationships. Rather than focusing on something quickly and on a quick sale, the book shows that trust and honesty are more important. If you trust someone and they trust you, they are more likely to be repeat customers and recommending you to others. Takeaways. So after reading this book, I started to think differently about sales and the approach to a sale. I realized that it is not just something that happens in business, it is actually part of everyday life. Anytime you are trying to explain an idea or convince someone of something, you are using sales skills. And the biggest takeaway for me is that success comes from connection rather than pressure. Listening and understanding people is just as important as talking, and the idea that something can be applied not just in business, but in school and everyday situations as well. In conclusion, the Little Red Book of Selling shows that success in sales is not about pressure or tricks, but is about trust, attitude, and building strong relationships with people. The main idea I took from this book is that selling is about creating value, and the skills used when creating value can be applied to all parts of life. And overall, the message is simple: connect with people first, and everything else will follow. Thank you.